Hello, beautiful friends, subscribers and non-subscribers alike. How is it going? Oh my gosh, I am so excited to make this video and share with you guys some of the crazy things that God has been taking me through. Giles is currently, oh, well, he's kind of sleeping. He's dozing. You gonna readjust, pal? I don't want to wake him up. He went for a really big walk earlier. Good boy, there you go. Settle down, good boy. Yeah, he went for a really big walk. We're in the Philippines. We're in Manila. Yes, I'm back in Manila. Surprise, surprise. But I'm not gonna complain. I'm very grateful because God really pulled out all the stops, and for a while there, I was like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. And, you know, I was really, like, just giving all my stress and concerns to God. And, you know, it would still creep back in, like, I would be stressed. But I just kept praying and giving it to Him and telling Him, like, you're really gonna have to show. Well, what I told Him was, this is a really great opportunity for you to give me a testimony, you know, because God knows I'm always going to tell everyone. So I just thought of it that way, of God having an opportunity to really show up and show out for us. So if you're new to my channel, I've been traveling around for almost 2 years now, and just usually I go around singing the gospel in my own originals as a traveling musician, and I recently got my dog Giles in Thailand. So that was a whole thing, and I really encourage you, if you haven't checked that video out of the testimony of how God brought me and Giles together, I would really, I'll link it below because that testimony is really cool as well. But this one I think is, I was waiting until God got us through, because even during, like, I knew, I was like, okay, because He gave me confirmations, and I was like, okay, but, you know, I didn't want to say anything until it was over, so I can give you guys the full thing. So I will get started. I just want to thank God also, and really, like, praise Jesus, because, you know, I don't deserve His help, His kindness, His wonderful treatment, His treats that He gives me, His winks and nods, and, like, it's really incredible that God cares about us. Like, He cares about me and my little dog, and, like, you know, He cares about you too. So, okay, Lord, help me remember everything. There's so many details that just blew my mind every day. So I will start with getting Him, I guess, like, after I got Him. So after I got Him, the first kind of crazy thing, well, I don't know if you've ever traveled with a dog also, but I will tell you, it's really, especially a puppy, like, it's really difficult because, you know, you're trying to keep them out of everything, trying to train them and move around and, like, protect them. So I had started feeling this weird vulnerability that I was totally not used to, because, you know, usually when I travel around, it's just me, and that's fine. But it's just different when you have, like, someone relying on you for everything, and, you know, when you're taking care of, like, a small living creature. Like, it made me start feeling, I was like, oh my God, I'm not used to feeling, like, this vulnerability, you know? And even when I got Giles, I had told God, when I prayed before I got him, before I found him, you know, I had prayed and told God, when I asked for my dog, for him to send Giles to me, you know, I was like, I know that this is gonna mean that I'm gonna have to trust you a lot more, and I think it'll be a good opportunity, you know, for a great testimony, because I knew it was gonna require more faith on my part. And boy, oh boy, did I not realize, like, just how much faith it was going to take. But it's amazing. And so, you know, the first thing we did when I had him was we had to stay at a hotel close by to where I had got him from his Basset farm that he's from. And we stayed there for like a few days. That place was really great. And then we moved, because we were like 2 hours outside of Bangkok, so we moved into like the outskirts of Bangkok. That hotel was not good, so we stayed there for a few days. I was sleeping on the floor with Giles because he was not potty trained at all, so I didn't want him to go on the bed. So we made a bed on the floor, and I slept on the floor with him for the first month. And he did great. And then once he was big enough to hop up on the platform and then the mattress of the hotel we were staying in, then I let him transition. Like, we transitioned that same day to the bed, and he did beautifully with it. But yeah, we moved, and I had been praying. I had like specific prayer points, just a place with puppy proof, just like a clean place, right? Like, because the place that we stayed when we first got into Bangkok was like horrible. It was like the sink just in the bathroom just dumped out onto the floor, so I couldn't wash my hands without him trying to drink like soapy water off the floor. There was like exposed rusty metal in the bathroom, and the door wouldn't close to the bathroom, so I had to like finagle it with like a thing and tie it shut. It was just not ideal. So, and they were charging me a pet fee. Like, they were basically charging me double what the room cost just to have Giles in there. And it wasn't even a nice hotel, it was like the furniture and stuff was all ripped up anyway. So I was like, and like I said, rusty, exposed stuff and everything. So I was like, okay. So I had some prayer points that I had asked for, and I really asked God, like, can we find a place with either like a really low pet fee or like maybe no pet fee? And so we transitioned to this other hotel, still outside of the main city center, but within Bangkok. It was next to Don Mueang Airport, which is the domestic airport for Bangkok. And we were like maybe like a 10-minute away from that or something. So, still centrally located enough. And another prayer point that I had was like to be in the Grab delivery area so I can have food delivered, because going out and getting supplies was, again, really difficult with my dog because he's a puppy, and at that time he wasn't vaccinated fully, so he had like his first 2, and he needed his 3rd round of like all of the things, and then the rabies, which you have to wait for 3 months for. So that first month that I had him, we had to exclusively stay indoors, so I couldn't really take him out and around, walking on the ground or whatever. And I had a puppy pass away from parvo before, so I was really paranoid about keeping him like away from that stuff. But it made it a little bit like a prison sentence for both of us, He had to be inside all the time, and, I had to be inside all the time. So it was like I needed to be able to order food and supplies and groceries and all that stuff. So I took a taxi, and it's so funny because God has a number that he always shows me to reassure me, and I just kept seeing that number all day. Like, on the way, it was like on people's license plates, it was on the street, that like the main street that the hotel is. There's a main street, and then there's like another street, so like on the main street, that was the number. It was just I was like, okay, so I had a good feeling, and the place looked really nice and clean, but you can never tell with Asia, like Southeast Asia, because sometimes it looks really nice, and then you get there and it's like they took that picture like 5 years ago, and now the hotel room looks like crap or whatever. But we got there, and it was the most amazing blessing, you guys. I can't even describe this place. Like, I came in, and the owner, he was amazing. Like, literally, he was so, like, one of those people that restores your faith in humanity. He loved Giles, and right away he told me like his daughter trains dogs, and he loved dogs, and Giles loved him, and he was like, oh, I'm not going to charge you a pet fee. And I asked him, like, if we booked for longer, if I could have a discount. He gave us the room. It was like this beautiful room, $15 USD a night. I think it's actually a little less than that, 500 baht. I'll put on the screen because I don't remember how much that is in USD, but it's around $15 a night. And the room was huge. We got our own balcony because I have to have him, you know, when we're in the room, he was going to the bathroom on the balcony on puppy pads. So we needed a balcony. We got a huge balcony, a beautiful view of the city. We got breakfast. The owner even would go special to get oat milk just for me, which I was like, you don't have to do that, but he was like, oh, it's okay, and like he would go get oat milk and make sure there was like vegan stuff for me because I don't eat dairy or animal products. And we got this beautiful room, and it was like totally puppy proof, you know, like I said, clean and big, and it was cheap. Like, we had everything we needed. Also, there was it turns out there was a bus that ran through the neighborhood, because, you know, eventually I did have to leave. Like, I had to go to the ATM and different things. And there was a neighborhood bus that just goes around, like, in a circle, and it was only 9 baht, which is, like, I don't even know, like 1 cent or, like, 5 cents. I don't even know how much that is. I'll put it in the thing, but, you know, almost nothing. And also there was like 7-Elevens and stuff, and convenies and grocery and stuff. So we were able to eventually, like, once I got more of like a routine and, figured out what I was doing with him, cause he's my first dog, we were able to take that little neighborhood bus around, which was a huge blessing. Super convenient, and there were like little restaurants right on the street. There was a cool cafe that I ended up going to regularly, where I would get Italian soda, and the ladies there loved Giles. Once we did start going for walks, it was just an absolute blessing. And then to top it off, the owner, like, because I needed dog supplies and stuff, and I would come downstairs in the morning and, you know, have breakfast, and we'd chat and everything, and he was like, you can come to the pet store with me if you want, because he's like, I have to go get bird seed. And I was like, okay. So he would let us come with him like every week to the pet store so I could get stuff for Giles, which was amazing. And yeah, like, it was just a lot, and I was like, wow, I was so grateful. And then when the time came, he even took us to the vet. The owner of the hotel took us to help me get Giles microchipped, and to help, we went and got him, you know, his rabies and everything like that, which he completely did not have to do at all. And, you know, it's nice for Giles because he really, like, saw this person every day. You know, he saw the owner of the hotel every day and really, like, formed a bond with him. It was super cute. So, he was comfortable and I was comfortable, and, you know, that's something that is kind of rare because, especially as a solo female traveler, like, sometimes, you know, I stay places and it's like, there's a creepy vibe or something, you know, and it was not like that at all. So that was just a huge blessing that, like, I just kept thanking God every single day. And even, you know, after he had all of his vaccines and stuff, so we got cleared by the vet for him to finally go outside. So I started walking him regularly every day, which was really cute because we got to see all the neighborhood people, and, you know, it was just fun. And then, so I'll get into the real meat of the testimony. So the crazy thing is, I thought that I had a 3-month visa in Thailand, because last time I was in Thailand, the visa is 3 months, and then you can extend for an additional month. And you can skip out of the country and come back and stuff too. So I was using the time that I thought I had to kind of get everything together. I was trying to pray and ask God, like, where should we go? Because I didn't really know where to go after Thailand. And I had wanted to bring him home to America, but then I learned that you can't bring a dog that's under 6 months into America, which is crazy. And I think that's ridiculous, but that's what it is. So that surprised me, and I was like, okay. So God kind of closed the door on America. And, you know, I looked at some other options, but was getting really frustrated and honestly pretty worried because, like, I was thinking, okay, I can maybe just deport him into, like, you know, the next country, maybe Laos or Vietnam or, like, somewhere close by. But the problem is I won't have a long enough visa for those, and I'm going to have to end up exporting him again, you know, turning around and doing the whole process again in, like, 3 months, which I really didn't want to do because exporting a dog is, you know, it's not that bad because I ended up hiring a relocation service, but it's stressful, you know, and there's a lot of, like, details and stuff. So I just ended up, you know, I was a little overwhelmed with the whole thing. But I was, like I said, I was praying, and I figured I had some time. And then I learned that they had changed. And I think people had been talking about it around me too. I just spaced it because the thing is, like, I was distracted with him and, you know, all this stuff. It's new, and I was trying to figure that out. So I totally spaced it or whatever. I don't know, because one day I looked at my passport and I was there on an expired visa. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, almost gonna have a panic attack, because it turns out, like, by the time I looked at it, I had already overstayed for like 2 weeks, and I was like, oh my God, like, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was just afraid for Giles too. Like, I was afraid that, you know, I was gonna be deported. Like, I don't know how it works, and so I was just like, oh my God. And, you know, obviously I was crying and everything. I went downstairs and talked to the owner, and he was like, no. He's like, you're not going to be in trouble. He's like, it happens all the time. Like, people overstay. He's like, we'll just go to the immigration. He actually had to go to immigration that day. And it was closed. It ended up being closed. His thing was, because it was the new year. So he was like, I can take you. And he took me, but it ended up being closed that day too. So we had to wait like an extra 4 days after I overstayed, just to go to immigration because it wasn't open for the new year. They take a lot of time off. Like, government offices in Thailand are closed from like the 1st until the 5th. So we went on the 5th, and the plan was, like, because the owner was like, well, you could, because they don't allow dogs in there at the immigration, but he was like, I'll, what you can do is, like, take a taxi and just try and put him in, because I will carry Giles in this, like, bag that I have, and he was like, try to just carry him in your bag and see if they'll let you. And he said, you know, if they don't let you, then just, you can leave him at the hotel with me and I'll take care of him, you know. And I was like, okay. I really didn't want to leave Giles because he's not used to being away from me. And I just, you know, I worry about him. And, like, I don't want him to develop separation anxiety, but he's a puppy, you know, so we're working on that. But I was like, ugh. So I was worried, and I was praying, and I had asked God if the hotel owner could just take us, you know. I was like, because Giles loves him, and he feels safe with him, you know, and because he's familiar with this whole, like, process and stuff. So I had prayed and asked God if the owner could just take us maybe. And literally, I went downstairs later, and I said, oh, hi, and I said hi to him, and the first thing he said to me was, would you like me to take you to the immigration office in the morning? Because we were going to go in the morning, and I was like, oh my God, that would be amazing. But I was like, Lord, like, because that was literally my prayer. And, you know, it's just nice if you know someone who, like, you can go with. And so he ended up taking us, helping us get through the line, and then he left. And so we took a taxi back when we were done. But it turns out, so we went through immigration, or through the visa extension thing, because you can extend for a month, but what happened was, because I overstayed, they cut that time out of my month extension. So when I went through at the desk, the lady was like, you have 7 days before you have to leave the country. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Like, and, you know, I was like, is there any way I can get, like, a little bit more time? Because I have my dog and everything. And she was like, you have 7 days. So I was like, okay, 7 days, okay. And thankfully, I had already been emailing and working with this pet relocation company. They're called Relo for Paws, and that company is incredible. That place was an absolute blessing. I just found them on Google, and I had a good feeling, and I prayed about it, and I was like, okay, like, I'm going to use this company. So I had started emailing them a couple weeks prior to this, but we were kind of in discussions, because there was I was like, okay, what if I go to this country? What if I go to this country? And they would tell me, like, okay, well, you need this, 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 and this. And, you know, some countries are more difficult, obviously, to get into with a dog than others. Like, if I imported him to the UK or something, you know, they would need a lot more information. So some countries are easier, which is why I chose Philippines, to be honest with you, because it's not that difficult to get a dog in compared to other countries. And I could stay longer. You can actually extend your visa up until 36 months as an American. So it gives us wiggle room, you know, to just chill for a little while, like, until he's older. Because, like I said, moving around with a puppy, it's not ideal. And I never planned on moving around with him. Like, I wanted to settle. It's just that my plan to settle and go back to America was obviously not the plan for the Lord, and I was like, okay, like, wherever you want to send me, Lord. And so by that point, and I had been praying too, I was like asking God, like, where should I go? Like, I don't know where to go, you know? And I told him, because I was like, I understand, like, maybe you want me to choose myself, but I was like, can you whittle it down a little bit? Like, maybe, because I just didn't know. And, you know, I had thought about all these different things and looked into all these different things. But then, by the time they were like, okay, you got a week, I was like, okay, like, just get us anywhere, you know, wherever you can bring us, like, get us there. And, ended up being Philippines. Like, I prayed and prayed on it, and I was like, Philippines is going to be the best option, because, like I said, we don't have to leave. It was a short flight. It's only 3 hours away. And, you know, it's funny too, because last time I was in Manila, I just didn't like it. If you guys watch my channel, you know, you're probably laughing at me right now that I'm in Manila, because, you know, it was just a lot. It's kind of overwhelming here, and I'm not a city person, and it's the most densely populated city in the world, so, you know, it wasn't my favorite place. But so what happened was, I was like, okay, I'm trying to find a place in Philippines where I wanted to go, and I was thinking, like, okay, maybe like Cebu or something, like, more down south where, like, we're more close to the beach or something. And I was, like, looking at all these flights, and then, you know, we would have had to get a connection from Manila. So I'm thinking, like, okay, do I want to do a layover with him? And the Lord it's funny too, because before the Lord, like, revealed where, he put it on my heart, you know, he put Philippines on my heart for sure. And before he did that, he let me know that I needed to be open-minded. like, I had all these, you know how on YouTube you'll have, like, videos pop up and stuff, and I have some people that I follow that, they always give, like, prophetic words and stuff, and this one lady, she was like, the Lord needs you to be open-minded about the place that you're going. It was very specific. I was like, okay, this seems like me. So I was praying about that, and I was like, I can be open-minded, Lord, because at that point I was like, I will go anywhere. I don't even care. I was like, as long as we're together and we're safe, like, and we make it out of Thailand, like, that's fine, you know, because I was just needing him to be with me, and, you know, it freaked me out, but I just gave everything to God, and I told him, you know, this is going to be an amazing testimony, and don't worry, I will tell everyone. You know, I always tell everyone. And so, yeah, I was looking, you know, once I was like, okay, Philippines, yeah, I can do Philippines, and then I'm looking at all these places, and there was this moment where I just was like, you know, looking, and God's like putting it on my heart. He's like, you are doing way too much. Like, go to Manila, okay? And I was like, Lord, is it Manila? You want me to go to Manila? And he's like, Manila, just go, get yourself to Manila. Like, just get there, you know? He's like, worry about the other stuff later. Like, just get to Manila, like, get to the Philippines. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I'm sorry, you're right. Like, I'll trust you. I'll be open-minded. Like, it's better than being separated from my dog and, you know, getting deported or something. So I was like, okay. So we, I decided, okay, Manila. And I just went with that. And, the crazy thing is, so I was looking around for airlines, and I was struggling because, you know, it's very hot in Southeast Asia, and we have to find a plane with temperature-controlled cargo. And I was just having a hard time finding that. And eventually I found Philippine Airlines, and I emailed them, and it was the holidays, so I had to wait, but they transferred me. They emailed different people, and they're like, oh, email this department. I emailed them, and so the lady says, this was the day that I got back from immigration too, and found out that I only had 7 days left. And also they charged me, because I overstayed, they charged me like $250. And that sucked too, because they charge you per day, like every day that you overstay, it's like $15 or something like that. No. Maybe, yeah, something like that, I don't remember. You have to pay every day that you overstay, basically, is what I'm saying. And, you know, I had overstayed like 19 days or something like that, I think. So it added up, and that was a bummer. I was like, okay, that sucks. And I also found out you can easily extend your visa online for 1,000 baht, which is like $26. So if I would have known, I could have just extended my visa online, like painlessly. I wouldn't have even had to leave the hotel. But I just didn't know. I had no idea it was expiring that soon. I was just not thinking. And so yeah, then I was like, okay, we gotta get the flight. And as I was trying to get the flight, I had emailed them, because like I said, I was already, some of the stuff was already in the works. Once I had figured out that I had overstayed, you know, I was like, I submitted my documents to the pet relocation service, and all that stuff, as soon as I found out I overstayed, even though I couldn't make it to immigration yet. But yeah, so I came back from immigration, and the lady emailed me back, and she was like, I only have flights for the 17th. I had to leave by January 12th, and she was like, I only have flight for the 17th for the kind of plane that he would need. And I emailed her again, and I was like, can you check because I was like, I have to be out by the 12th. She emailed me back, and she was like, there is a flight leaving on the 12th, and this is the flight number, right? She sends me the flight number. Tell me why it was my number that God always shows me. It was my number that he always shows me. I cried right there I was in the lobby of the hotel. I had been talking to the owner about like what was going on. I just broke down and cried. I cried and I was like sitting on the floor crying with Giles, like, because I was so stressed out. Like thinking, oh my God, like I have like 7 days to get myself and my dog. Like if it's just me, I can just fly out, that's not a big deal, but it's not as easy for him. Like he needs all this paperwork and stuff, and you have to get export permits and an import permit from the other country and all this stuff. So I was just completely overwhelmed, like with the process, and scared, to be honest with you. Like it freaked me out. And once I saw that, I was like, God's got us. I was like, okay. And like, I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like he's always got us. But for him to just give me that little wink, like he didn't have to do that. He made the flight number my number. And I was like, okay. Real quick, something else that I totally forgot about when I was recording this, now that I'm watching it back, editing it. The relocation company kept telling me that Philippine Airlines is notorious for switching the plane at the last second. And the guy even told me when we were on our way to the health inspection, he was like, make sure you call them 48 hours in advance, 24 hours in advance. Make sure you double check, like they haven't switched the plane, because he said they like to switch the aircraft, and then it's one that doesn't have a temperature controlled cargo hold. And he said he had even taken people to the airport up until a couple hours before the flight, and they've switched the plane. And he's like, we get everything together, we go to the airport, and then we get to the desk upon check-in, and they're like, I'm sorry, we've switched the flight, and then that causes a whole hubbub or whatever. And for me, I was like, well, we have to leave on the 12th, because I'm already here on borrowed time, and I have to leave on the 12th. And so I was like, okay. And so I made sure to tell the Lord, that plane cannot switch. And because it was my number, it wasn't just my number either. It was 7 and then my number. And 7, if you guys know, in the Bible is perfection and completion, significant number, And, this is not the same as angel numbers either, because I've told the Lord a lot of times, if seeing these numbers and thing is not of you, please remove that from my life. It's not a demonic thing, and it's not angel numbers. God just speaks to people in different ways, and he knows that that's a way that I rely on him, and that I, trust him, and that it comforts me. And he talks to everyone in a different way, in a way that you will understand, and that you can see him moving in your life. So, I just love that. That was one more thing that was piled on top of my stressors. Was oh, now I have to worry about them changing the flight at the last, and because it was he really stressed that too. He was like, they really frequently change it at the last second. So he's like, just be aware that's something that's totally possible. And I had called the airline, in advance, 48 hours before, and then 24 hours before. And then on the day, I got an email that confirmed his reservation in the cargo, confirmed the flight being on time. Like I said, even when he said that to me, I was like, well, the flight's not going to change in Jesus' name. I said that. I was like, in Jesus' mighty name, it's not going to change, because we have to get out of here, and God already made me a promise. And that was cool too, because I got to tell a lot of my testimonies to the relocation service as well, because I'm gonna be talking about Jesus. Okay, but I just wanted to include that really quick, because just in the, like I said, there's details that there's so many little things that God did, and it was just awesome. So I'll get back to the video now, though. So this is the crazy thing too. I was like, okay, we'll book it right now. She emails me back and she's like, I need there was like $260 something for my ticket. She was like, I need the money by 2 p.m. and it was like 1 something at that time. And I was like, why is it a ticking time bomb? Like, why do you need... And she's like, it has to be a Thai bank. And I don't have a Thai bank account. So I asked the hotel owner, I was like, hey, is there any way like you could transfer this money and I'll give it right back to you? Like, I'll go to the ATM tomorrow and give it to you. And thank God he was like, yes, of course. And so he transferred the money. And then the lady emailed me back and she was like, it can't be someone else's bank account. It has to be your bank account. And I was like, what? And I was like, can you like ask your manager or something and make an exception, because I don't have a Thai bank account. Like, I'm not a Thailand resident. They did it. They did. They accepted it. And I think maybe it's because he had already paid, you know? I mean, it's because of God, you know, let's be real. But yeah, they issued my ticket, and I was just crying that day and praising God, and I was like, wow, like, because even that, it was like, you know, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you can't even buy the ticket, and here's a time. It was like everything, like Satan was just trying to come against us on everything, but on every turn, God was like, nope, 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 and like, even though I did feel scared and I was stressed and overwhelmed and stuff, I was just, like, every time I would feel that, I would just, like, say a prayer, you know, just, like, say a prayer, even under my breath or whatever. Like, I was just praying, and, like, I was like, Lord, like, this is a great opportunity for you to show how amazing you are. Because I told him, I was like, we need a miracle. Like, I cannot do this on my own at all. And, you know, like I told you, he had been giving us so much amazing help just with the people around us, and everything that I knew he was gonna make a way, and I didn't know how, but I was like, I trust you. And so then we had our flight booked all of a sudden, you know, and then the pet relocation service emailed me back once I had told them, like, okay, I have 7 days to leave the country. Well, by then they had already started processing my paperwork. And they were like, it's fine. The lady was like, don't worry. She was like, we have enough time. And we got everything together. Like, they picked me up. I'm telling you, that if you're in Thailand and you ever need to relocate a pet, like, Relo for Paws was incredible. They picked us up to take Giles to his health inspection, because before you export a dog, they have to have a health inspection by the livestock and agriculture department, and it's like at the airport. So yeah, and that was like an hour away from where I was staying. So they picked us up and took us there, and it's awesome because like the guy, he's from the UK, but he's lived in Thailand for a really long time, so he speaks Thai and knows all the people at the import office. So it was super smooth. Are you kind of waking up? What's going on? He's a little bit awake. I'm just petting his belly. I'm petting his nice belly. What you doing? Huh? You sweet creature. I love him so much. He's so cute. So yeah, we did that, and then the relocation service gave me, because they had already completed his like the import permit for the Philippines, so they sent me that so I could fill out my e-travel card, which is what you submit to a country before you enter, just so they know. And you have to declare, like, if you're importing something, right? So I customs, and so yeah, I declared him on customs and gave them the documents that the pet relocation service gave to me. Can I hold you? Oh, come here, big boy. He's so big. I love this wrinkly boy. You're such a good boy, bud. You smell good. You smell like vanilla corn chips. Well, that's not even a thing, but guess what you smell like? My grunty boy. Look at this droopy bear. He's so droopy. I love you. Say hi. Say I'm Giles. I'm a drowsy boy. He's just the sweetest thing in the whole world. So yeah, they look how cute you are, Giles. Look at your squishy face. Say I'm a squishy boy. Go back night-nights, bud. Go night-night. He's exhausted. It's been a really long week for both of us. So yeah, suddenly, like, I was like, okay, I got my e-travel thing, because there's a lot of stuff you have to do before you go to a country, even if it's just me, you know, there's things that, like, you gotta get your SIM card, you gotta do the e-travel thing, you gotta do the flight, you gotta book your hotel, you gotta, like, figure out transportation, you know, all these things, logistics, I'm used to doing for me, but not for, like, both of us, and plus the import paperwork with customs and all that stuff. So, yeah, they took us there, and then they took us back to the hotel, and I think it took, like, 3 hours total, and Giles was so good, thank God. Then we, that same day also, they provided a crate. That was awesome too, because I didn't know where I was going to get his crate. And you can see we got a really nice one. They actually, they sell them, and it was way cheaper than the other, like, because I had looked into the IATA compliant crates. I was maybe going to order one off of, like, Lazada. But theirs was way cheaper, and it's, like, super nice, and they just brought it right to us, so that was really a huge blessing. I didn't have to leave to go anywhere, you know, or try to, like, manage a taxi or figure out logistics of transportation. So yeah, then yeah, we were done with that, and then they emailed me back and said, you know, they had the health certificate and everything ready. I mean, he passed his health inspection with flying colors, which is awesome. The only thing he has been struggling with a little bit, and it's just because it's hot here, and basset hounds kind of have skin issues anyways. Let's see if I can get... You're so cute, baby boy. Who's that? Who's that? Is that my baby? You see yourself? You're certainly a handsome fella. You're certainly a handsome fella. Look at you. You're so soft and sweet. Yeah, skin issues, and it's just the heat and stuff. So in his little underarms, he kind of gets like a rash. And I've been giving him some Greek yogurt for that, which helps a lot. We got to get more here. I don't have any for him right now, but yeah, he passed his health inspection, and everywhere we go, people just, like, he gets so much attention, and he loves it. He just, you know, it's almost like being with a celebrity. I don't really mind, though, because usually out here, I just get so much attention from my hair, and I guess because I look different and everything, and you know, I don't always want that, so it's kind of nice for me to just, like, stand there and be like, yes, pay attention to my dog. Like, he's a cutie patootie. So yeah, we passed that, and then all I had to do was the smaller stuff, you know, like I said, eSIM, that's easy. I found a hotel, this place that we're in right now, which we're going to be moving tomorrow, but it's been fine for a couple days. The only reason I'm moving is because the balcony has, like, the radiator dripping on it, which he tries to drink, like that air conditioner water, you know, he tries to drink that. I don't want him drinking that. And this area is just really chaotic. It's like a tight neighborhood area, and I just want more of like a, I don't know, less of a neighborhood area, I guess. If you've been to Manila, you know what I'm talking about. He has like a little step on here because it's high up a little bit. He's not tall enough to get on the bed without me lifting him up here. So, do your potty, buddy. Good boy. He's so smart. Good boy. He goes right on the puppy bed. You're a good boy. Good boy, pal. Let's see. You want a treat? Come here. Good boy, buddy. Great job. You're so smart. You're so smart, bud. I love you. Good boy, baby bear. Good boy. Such a good boy. Let me finish my vlog, okay? I don't have too much longer. What is this? I don't know if you guys can see him, but he's just chill. He's a very chill boy, like, honestly. I mean, he does get hyper for sure because he's a puppy, but he's really chill for a puppy. From what I've seen compared to like other puppies and stuff. So yeah, we only had to do those little logistical things. And then though, another obstacle was like, it was like 72 hours before we were gonna fly. He like ate something weird off the ground or something, I don't know. Maybe he was just stressed because he saw me packing. I don't know. Because we lived in that hotel for 2 months, you know? Good boy, buddy. And, you know, all of a sudden I'm packing our stuff. So maybe, I don't know. It was that or something. But he developed, like, horrible diarrhea. And the first night I noticed, like, he pooped in the room, which he never does at night, and it was not like full-on diarrhea, but I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then when I let him out in the morning, he had diarrhea, and I was like, okay. And he eats banana. Banana's amazing for their stomachs. Like, if they ever develop something like that, you can give them banana. It works amazing. So I gave him banana, and it kind of got better during the day, but then again by the evening it had started back up, so we were literally awake all that night with him having diarrhea, and like he would come into the bed, and then, you know, maybe we would fall asleep for an hour, and then he would need to go out again, and I'd have to wake up and take him out and clean it up and everything, and it got really bad where it was like liquid, and I was just worried, you know. I was like, oh my God, and I was praying about it, and then I was like, surely it's gonna be gone by the morning, and it still continued. Like, it got a little bit better again during the day, but then that night, the night we were gonna leave, like we were leaving in the morning, he just had, don't lay on your puppy pad, Giles. He's laying on his puppy pad. He had horrible diarrhea and was waking up. I mean, there was nothing left in the tank. He was like out there forcing out droplets, and I was like, dude, like, I was like, oh my God. So, and I was praying. I'm in this prayer war room group on Facebook, and it was like 4:00 in the morning, and you know, I had already been praying, covering him with the blood of Jesus, trying not to worry, and because the thing that I didn't want is for him to have diarrhea during the flight, obviously being stuck in the crate. And even the relocation service guy told me, he was like, oh yeah, the last dog that I just picked up, like, he's like, I picked it up, and when I got him, like, his crate was just filled with diarrhea. And I was like, oh my God, like, I really don't want that, because like, that's gonna be so horrible of a flight for him if he's sitting in his own poop the whole time. You know, I didn't want that. And obviously we had no choice. We had to leave on the 12th. And, you know, I did some Googling and stuff too, and people were like, oh, maybe delay the flight. And I was like, dude, I can't delay the flight. I couldn't even take him to the vet or anything, really, because it's like, we gotta go. And I was thinking about it too that night. I was like, should I just take him to the emergency vet or something? But I had stopped feeding him anything since he just kept pooping and pooping. And that's what people say. They're like, you know, just provide water, but don't give them any food. Dang it, I picked a mosquito bite and my leg is bleeding now. Hang on. So, yeah. I went on my Facebook group, that one that I'm in, and I asked people, I just explained the situation. I was like, hey, me and my dog are flying. Giles, leave it. Hey, leave it, please. Good boy, thank you. He tries to eat his puppy pads. Yeah, and I was like, can you please pray for his diarrhea to stop? And people were so sweet. It was a lot of people that commented back, and they were like sending prayers and everything. And after that, his diarrhea stopped completely. It just stopped. And like, it was like 4 a.m, like I said, and we had been waking up every 30 minutes, every hour, for him to go out. And I was cleaning it up, and my trash can was just full of like dog poop bags, and I was like, oh my god, like, you know, that's enough to freak anyone out. And I was just worried about him like being healthy, you know, because I was like, is he sick? Like, if he ate something off the street, like, it shouldn't be this bad for this long, you know. And I was worried about him like being dehydrated and stuff too. So, you know, it was scary. But after that, like, I was like, okay, Lord, like, I'm trusting you, and I have faith, and I'm just gonna leave it to you. And because I was like, I know it doesn't matter what it looks like. I know it doesn't matter what it looks like in the physical. And I kept just remembering, I feel like God just kept reminding me of my flight number. And he's like, remember, like, I promised you. And I was like, I held him to that too. I was like, you promised me, and I believe you. Yeah, after that, Giles fell asleep. Because every time he would go out, he would come back. He's really good about sleeping through the night. Like, he knows, like, it's nighttime, we sleep, you know. He's very good about that. And so he would go out and then just faithfully come right back to the bed and pass out. But then he would wake up again and go out. And he fell asleep and stayed asleep. And I kept kind of waking up intermittently and like looking at him and feeling him, and just like making sure he's okay. And he slept through the night after that. So I was like, okay. And then in the morning I figured like, okay, he probably has to poop. And I take him out on the balcony, nothing. And I was like, okay. And so I gave him a banana, like a Cavendish banana. They're not very big, they're like small. And he tolerated it well and was doing good, so I gave him another, because usually he has 2 of those a day to keep him like regular, and he just loves them also. And then we went on our walk, and I was thinking, okay, like, he's probably gonna have some diarrhea on the walk. We'll just get it out of his system or whatever. Hopefully the banana will bind enough, since he hadn't eaten anything for the night and that evening or whatever. And we went on our walk. You know, he does some pees and no poops. And I was like, okay, like, no poops, like, so I'm like, you know, this is weird, like, is he gonna have to go later? I have no idea. But the relocation service comes. That's the other thing too. The relocation service even picks us up to take us to the airport, which is like an hour away. And you know, they go through the line with you and present all the documents and get you through and get you checked in. It's amazing. I cannot recommend them enough. Honestly, they were a huge godsend. I'm doing a huge shout out for them just because, like, they came through for me so well. I had no idea services like that even existed either. And honestly, it wasn't even as much as you might expect. Like, it was like $500 total, like just over 500, I think, which isn't even that bad really if you consider like everything that they did and how they took care of all the paperwork. I didn't have to have a huge headache to try to do that stuff, you know. So to me, I was like, okay, it's worth it. And then, oh, good boy, buddy. Hang on, he's gonna do a poopy, so I gotta clean. Wow, bud, thank you. Yeah, his poops are literally perfect now. It's just amazing. So yeah, but on the way to the airport, you know, I got him in my lap and everything, and of course he had gone pee. But I was like, I have no idea, like, is this diarrhea actually gone? Like, I don't know. And we got to the airport. Hang on, buddy. Stay away from this. I know you don't like the smell of that. Hand sanitizer. I didn't touch anything, but picking up your duty, pal. Yes. You're so sweet. So yeah, we got to the airport, and as the relocation guy was parking, you know, he was like, oh, you can kind of walk around with him a little bit, see if he can go potty more. He didn't do any more potties, and I was like, but I was like, praise God, like, he probably is good. Like, I was just having faith, you know, because I was like, I knew he had nothing left in the tank anyways, other than the banana. So I was like, praise God, okay. And then we stood in line. It was a pretty long line too, maybe at least half an hour. And he peed while we were in line, which I was grateful for because I wanted him to go before I put him in the crate. And he was so popular at the airport. Everyone was just, people were taking pictures of him. He's like a celebrity, honestly. It's so crazy. And, you know, he's just getting all this attention. No chewing. Hey, Giles, leave it. Hey, good boy. Thank you. We don't chew. It's not mine. It's not ours to chew. You need something to chew. Here. You chew this. You chew this one, sweet boy. I want to take him for a walk in a minute, but I want to finish my testimony too because it's so cool. Like, we get on the we get through the line, and then it was like everything was just trying to fight against us still. Okay. So yeah, we get to the line, and I have to pay for his pay for him. Because I haven't paid for him, you know, I paid for my own ticket, and basically I have to just say, okay, like, I didn't choose. I think she booked me for a more, I think the lady that I talked to booked me maybe for a more expensive ticket, but I was just like, okay, like, whatever the ticket is, I'll buy it. But yeah, so they weighed him. He's already 30 pounds too. That was sorry, my phone fell and I had to interrupt him trying to destroy furniture. But yeah, we got to the desk. His thing was like the same price as mine. It was like $240 something, but they were like, so I gave them my credit card, and they're like, oh, we don't have a card machine at the airport. Like, really? You don't have a card machine at the airport? Okay, like, doesn't really make any sense to me. So they were like, do you have cash? They sent me some link to try to use my card, and that did not work. So they were like, do you have cash? I had cash drawn out to pay the relocation service, and I was like, well, I have cash, but it was for, you know, paying the and they're like, I was like, is there an ATM in here? And they're like, yeah. So I gave them the cash that I was going to give the relocation service. And keep in mind, like, I need to check in for my flight too, because the line was like really long. And so it was getting down to the wire. I had no idea how long it was going to take. So that was like stress trying to creep in, you know. And of course, as I'm trying to do these things, Giles is pulling all around on my, on the leash. People are taking pictures of him. People are calling him over, and I'm trying to keep him near me. And I'm trying to put my card information into this thing, like, and then it didn't work. You know, and so it's like all these things were like trying to frustrate me, and I was just like, oh my God, Lord, please help me. And we're on a time crunch, you know. So I was just trying not to be stressed. But we got through, and then so I paid them, I paid for him. Hey, his teeth must be really hurting. You need to chew? He's got to find the perfect place to eat it. So yeah, but then that was fine, and the guy from the relocation company helped me find the ATM, which was like a short walk, and then so I got his money, and then we dropped Giles off at the oversized baggage, which, oh, you want to come up? You want to come up with Mama? Okay, come here. Goodness, he's heavy. He's got to have a good place to chew his little thing. Yes, you do. Sorry, the lighting is gonna change, but it's nice for him because it relaxes him. He needs to sleep more, honestly. You had a lot of work the last few days. You had a lot of weird new experiences, didn't you? You did it like a champ, though, bud. You handled it really well. So, what do you call it? Yeah, we dropped him at the oversized baggage. I was like holding back tears. I was like, oh, my baby, you know, just putting him in their hands, and I was praying over him just under my breath, like the whole time I was praying. And yeah, so I got him and my guitar into the oversized baggage. One good thing I will say too, I didn't have to pay any extras for the other baggage. So that was a blessing. I was allowed 30 kg, which I think is like 60 pounds-ish, for my luggage. So I didn't even have to pay any extra baggage fees other than for this guy. So that was really great. And then, yeah, I got through immigration super quick, actually. Or the security check, and of course they want me to leave the country at that point, so it was smooth. And yeah, I got a Subway sandwich and just waited, and I was just praying the whole time for Giles. I was just praying for him, and boarded the flight. And like I said, it was only 3 hours, so that's not too bad. I just watched a movie and was just thanking God the whole time, honestly. And even that day, he kept showing me my number, and just letting me know like everything was okay. And I felt just incredibly overwhelmed, with the whole thing, overwhelmed with gratitude that like God made a way when I was facing this like super scary, uncertain thing, and I don't know if you've ever been in a position like that where it's like, it's not even just you. Like, if it was just a me thing, it wouldn't have been so stressful, I think. But because, like, it was this guy who I love so much, like, I just love him, and he means so much to me. You guys who watch my channel know how much he means to me, and like, how he is a promise from God to me. So he's my Jesus dog, but I kept reminding God of that too, and reminding myself, like, I know you would not have given me this dog unless you were going to take care of us. Because that's one thing I told the Lord, it's like, if I'm going to get a dog, like, I really need you to take care of us, and I know I'm going to have to trust you because I know it's going to be scary, because I'm going to be worried about him being okay. But I just know that I don't have to worry, you know, and when I do feel worried, I just even visually imagine myself like putting all those worries in a big bag and just leaving them at Jesus' feet, you know, and saying like, here's all my crap, you know, this is all the crap, and like, I can't do it. I kept telling God, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this stuff on my own. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And it's just so amazing what the things that he does for us, the things that he helps us through, the things that he sees. Like, he knows your situation better than anyone. And God kind of gave me this vision of like how people would take things to the top, you know. Oh, I want to talk to your manager. I want to talk to your manager's manager or whatever. Like, we get to take things to the ultimate tippy top, to someone who knows the ins and outs of the full situation, who knows our hearts, who knows the type of a person that we are, like, as believers, you know, not even just believers, obviously, like, everyone. That's if you're a non-believer too. Like, he loves you, he's in your life. It's just like, you know, obviously non-believers are not gonna ask, right? They're not gonna come to him. He wants you to just come to him, and then, like, he makes a way beautifully when we rely on him. It's when we're prideful and we're like, I can do it on my own, you know. In that situation that I was in, if I would have been like, oh, I got this, like, I don't need any help, like, dude, I would have been screwed. Like, I already know. I have no ability to do this stuff on my own whatsoever. So, like, I can't do that on my own. And it's only by the grace of God that we got through. And then even when we landed, it was just so awesome, because I know Giles was upset too. Like, he was definitely crying, and I kind of suspect he didn't even sleep during the flight. I think maybe he was crying the whole time, which is totally heartbreaking, but like, I have no choice, you know, and I'm hoping we don't have to do that again for a really long time. But when I got through immigration and everything, it was super smooth, and I enter the baggage claim hall, and I hear him way before I see him. I hear, just little cries, and his little, ooh, he does this like little howl when I step out of the room and stuff, and I just ran to him, and he was locked. They like zip tie it closed, so I couldn't get him out of there, but I was just like in tears, like so grateful that he was okay. And I looked like at the crate, there was no poops in the crate. He didn't poop. I could smell it, he peed in there, but like, who cares about that? So he just peed. I think he probably peed one time in there. And anyways, there's a like little like a flooring grate type thing with a puppy pad under, so it's not like he was like sitting in his liquid the whole time or anything. And then one of the staff members came with scissors and like opened it, and he just like came in my arms and was like, you know, loving all over me, and he tucked his face in my armpit and was just but he settled right down and was really happy. Come here, sweet critter. Come. Can we have some cuddles? Did you eat your thing? I gave him a dental stick. He loves those. I love you. You're so beautiful. You're soft. My little baby. We're talking about you. I'm talking about you. Because you're so cute. Yeah. So yeah, and then getting through the little like immigration customs thing was super easy too. You go to like the agriculture desk. They just had me like sign a paper. They looked at all of his paperwork and you know, took some because there was doubles, and yeah, they charged me $7 import health inspection fee, and that was that, and we were free to go. So then it's funny too, because I was trying to get a taxi. Airport taxis are just such a rip-off, man. This one, like, they were like, oh, $35, and it's like a 10-minute drive. Hey, leave it, Gilesy, thank you. Don't chew on the mattress, baby boy. But so I was able to get a Grab, thank God. And the driver was even a Christian as well. He was really cool. And, I held Giles in my lap while we were driving, and he fell right asleep immediately. So he was chill. We got to our hotel, and I was just absolutely in awe and so grateful. And we arrived, and we got in our room. I gave us both a bath. He came in the shower with me because he smelled like pee from being in his crate. And then we both just curled up in bed and passed out. And and I didn't even mention either, there's just so much stuff, but at the immigration office, when I was extending my visa, if you remember, I said, they don't allow dogs and stuff, inside when you can, it was okay when I just was waiting for my number and stuff, but when I got in the office, they were like, oh, you can't have a dog in here. And I was like, okay, well, I don't have anywhere to put him. He's a puppy. And thank God they allowed me to put him in my purse. He's really heavy too. Like I said, he's 30 pounds. He's not a small boy. So yeah, we were able to be taken care of at the visa office even. Although they don't allow pets, I gotta clean your dirty paws, Gilesy. You're dirty. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, that's my testimony of purchasing a dog in Thailand and taking him to the Philippines. So yeah, we're in Manila now, and I'm just incredibly grateful. I feel like God pulled out a miracle for us, and he didn't have to. He didn't have to do that, but he did. And I also know that there's a good reason why we're here. So like I said before, this was not my favorite place previously when I came here, but when I really started thinking about it, because I was like, okay, there's good stuff every place, right? And the last time I came here too, I didn't have my card because my card information had gotten stolen, and I had to cancel my credit card. So I didn't have access to my funds, so that was stressful. And it was also super hot. It was the dead of summer last time I was here. So there were things that were stressing me out, which I think impacted my view as well. But even so, it is hard for me to be here. There's something that I see every day that deeply upsets me here. And we've only been here 2 days, and yep, every day I've seen something, and I've barely gone outside, but every day I see something that deeply upsets me, and it's hard, but I'm not going to complain. I'm really extremely grateful to just be with Giles. Yeah, so I'm going to focus on the positives, and like I said, I had thought about it because I was like, there's good stuff here too, and I had thought about people are extremely nice and amazing here, so kind. Even this morning, the lady from reception had invited us last night to go on a walk with her this morning, so she took us around the neighborhood for a walk, which was really nice and excellent exercise for him. A little overwhelming for me, but that was extremely nice of her. And And there's also, like, all the malls here allow dogs pretty much. Even, like, last time I was here, I was in the Mall of Asia. They have a whole dog pet area on the roof, which is amazing. And there's dog parks here. Like, when we move tomorrow, we're going to be more centralized, and I'm excited for that because there's a ton of malls nearby. It should be easier for me to order food because we're right next to, like, a lot of vegan restaurants and stuff. Yeah, like, I'm just extremely grateful. And the Philippines is a Christian country, which I love, and I've already met so many people, and they're all, like, wearing crosses and stuff, and I'm just like, man, it's so refreshing to be in a place with... What are you doing? He wants to go in the crack in the bed. Of all the places. So, yeah. Hey! What? He's getting all restless. You want to go on your walkie? Should we do your walkie? Okay, I'll do the walkie. Okay, I gotta take him on his walk. But God bless you guys. Thanks for listening to my testimony. I'm sure I forgot stuff too, because God just did so many little things that every day I was just, like, blown away and, like, dropping to my knees on the floor, like, crying and thanking him, you know? Oh my goodness! Are you still hungry? What about a nanner? You want your nanner? No, you must like this food. He's a hungry boy today. He really didn't eat anything either. Like, I mean, that, of course, since we've landed, he has. But, you know, that day that we flew, he didn't even know. This was so sad because they put that little, like, it's like a hamster bottle. You know how they drink out of the little, like, thing? Well, that's what he has on his crate. But, and I figured he would, you know, realize because they can smell that there's water in there. And I had showed him, like, oh, if you do it, like, their water comes out there. Maybe he was panicking the whole time. I don't know, because he didn't drink. Like, the bottle was full when we landed. And I was like, oh my God, he hasn't even drank. And when I finally got him to water, he just drank and drank and drank. And maybe that's why, you know, he didn't end up peeing when we were, he didn't pee that much when we were flying. So I felt so bad for him. I'm just glad it's over. Like, I don't want to do that again with him anytime soon. And, you guys who have flown with a pet know how stressful it is. Just because you're worried about them, you know, you're worried about their well-being. Did you already eat? Oh my gosh, Giles. Okay, I'll give you a little more, okay? Not too much. Goodness, you like this. When I feed him too, I don't fill it at all. I just line the bottom because I don't want him to overeat. So I kind of just gauge it and give him, you know, if he's hungry, I feed him though, because he's growing and he's teething right now too. He lost a tooth last night, which is like so adorable. I was like, oh. You know, I'm just super proud of him too, because it's a lot for him. Like I said, he's just a baby and he's going through all that stuff too, teething and plus he had the diarrhea, you know, and he hadn't slept much in those days either from being sick, you know, having his tummy upset and stuff. So, and yeah, even after, it's crazy because I took him out of the crate even in the airport because I was like, okay, you probably have to poop. He didn't. And he didn't poop until we got to the hotel. Like, literally when we got to the hotel and I took him out, he pooped. And it was normal. And I was like, oh my God, like, yes. I was like, thank you, Lord. And everything's been perfectly normal and smooth since then. His digestive system seems to be totally fine. And so, yeah, God is just amazing though. And he has shown up 100% for us, like, in a way that just blows my mind. And I can't even really comprehend it. Honestly, I can't. But anyways, little man here is getting super restless I'll take him outside just to let him kind of sniff around a little bit. We got to be careful because there's a ton of stray dogs in this area, and like you can tell some of them have diseases and stuff by looking at them. So, you know, I just keep him away from, obviously he's fully vaccinated and all that stuff, but just keep him away from that sort of stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna scoot. I wanted to make sure that I shared that and make sure, because I let the Lord know too. I was like, I don't have a good way to thank you. I don't have any way to thank you. The only way that I can say thank you is by sharing my testimony with people. And, you know, he always knows that I'm going to tell everyone. And so, hey, don't drink that. Please don't drink that. Giles, come here. You want Wawa? Come here. There's Wawa right there. You got Wawa. There's the Wawa. My little baby. Yeah, good boy. He's so funny. Okay, I love you guys so much, and I'm praying for you. Please keep us in your prayers as well. We just got to figure out next, like, to extend my visa and find a place that, you know, we're happy, that's a reasonable price, that has the different amenities that we need. And, yeah, I just hope everybody has a great day. May God bless you. If you need prayer for something specific too, please write it in the comments. You know, I would love to pray for you any way that I can. And just remember, God loves you so much. He sees your situation. Hey, anyways, I'm gonna go. But yeah, God sees your situation and he loves you. And even in the most random, like, circumstances or things you would think maybe he doesn't care about, he does. So you guys have an awesome day, and I hope to upload more frequently as well now that we're in a more stable location. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.